Imagine this. You're in flow, deep in concentration. Everything's clicking. Then it hits. Another interruption. An email from a potential client wanting to schedule a meeting. Great news, right? Until the scheduling dance begins. You suggest 3 time slots. They don't work. They suggest 3 more. Those don't work either. 20 minutes later, you're still coordinating times. And your flow state? Long gone. This is the daily reality for entrepreneurs everywhere. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be yours. My name is Marvin Aziz, and today we'll dive deep into AI-powered scheduling that works while you focus. I'll walk you through how my scheduling has evolved over time, ranging from very simple setups to advanced AI systems. And I highly recommend you stick around for the last one because, well, it's going to blow your mind. And we're actually going to push the limits of what's possible with AI in business today. So let's start with the easiest solution. We're going to use Google Calendar for this. This is, in my opinion, the easiest way to schedule meetings. You go to your calendar, click anything, you click on appointment schedule, right? And then set up schedule. Now what you can do is you can set up the times you're available, right? And I'm going to choose a couple of days, or the working days. This is way too early. Maybe I want to change the time to 12:30 to 3:30, something like that, right? And I can have this repeat weekly. I can have it not repeat. I can choose a custom way to do it, right? And I can even choose like how many days in advance people can schedule the meeting with me, right? And what I highly recommend you do if you are a consultant or maybe an agency or something, I highly recommend you don't go beyond 7 days, right? Because people tend to forget. Your booking to show up rate is going to be horrific, and you want to avoid that, right? And then what you can also do is you can choose the buffer time. And I think for me personally, I need a short break after each call, right? So I'm going to do something like 10 minutes or so I can prepare for the next meeting, maybe take some notes on the last one, if you're still doing it manually. So that's the whole idea, right? Then you can change the photo and add a title, right? Meeting with me. You can add a Google conference or maybe even something else, right? You can change the description. You can add items, right? For example, you can add a custom item. What's your address or what's your problem, whatever, right? You can set it to required. And then what you can do is you can even collect payments, right? So this is for the premium workspace users. You can add email reminders, stuff like that. Very similar to Calendly. I think it's super useful because in the end, if you actually open the booking page, it looks like this. And you see exactly what times work for your client as well as for yourself, right? So I can choose a time, I can type in what's my problem, and I can book the meeting, right? Easy as that. So now all you have to do is basically share that link with your prospect, right? You have the link right here, you can copy it. You can also embed this on your website, right? Maybe through a button with a pop-up, right? Book a call or something. But you can also simply embed the booking page on your website. And this is a simple HTML embed. So let's get a bit more advanced, right? If you go to my website, you will notice that if you click on book a call, you see this form instead of a book a call calendar, right? And the idea behind this is that I have a system around it, right? So if we go to my booking automation, this is what's happening. I have this, and this is make.com, by the way. It's a tool to automate a couple of things in your business, right? I've set up the Google Calendar right here. It's a it's an API connection, and you can, what it does is it basically looks for any events added to my calendar. And if it's the right event, it's gonna search my Notion and update a database item, which is basically which acts as a project management database for me, right? So whenever a new prospect comes in and wants to book a meeting with me, I already prepare a page in my Notion. And then it goes on to search for the person inside my CRM, which is Pipedrive in that case. And if I find the person, I'm going to search for a deal. If that's existing, I'm going to simply update the deal with the new information I got, or I'm going to create a deal, right? If I didn't find the person, I'm going to create a new deal and create a note with that new information. That's the intermediate version, right? And this was the version I actually used for the longest time. So it actually works and it's very, very helpful. But recently I came across something new and I wanted to share it with you. So this is what I'm using today. I'm really, really excited about it because it saves me so much time. It makes my life so much easier. I still have the automation whenever someone books through my calendar on my website. Everything stays as is, right? But occasionally I have this issue where people simply send me an email, right? We have a conversation. I'm also doing cold outreach. So sometimes I get into a conversation when we try to schedule a meeting. And instead of sending the booking link, I try to make it even simpler. And this is it. This is Lindy.ai. It's one of the many tools I've been using in the past couple of weeks to explore what's possible with AI. What happens is I can CC my Lindy, which I named Becca. And whenever I CC her, she's basically going to check if I asked her to find a time slot, right? If yes, then it will go to my calendar. It will actually respond with available times. And if the recipient accepted the time, it will actually create the event in our calendar, confirm it with an email. And even if the recipient then says something like, hey, I'm not sure if the time is actually working for me, can we reschedule? My Becca assistant is going to take care of that too, right? Which is incredible. So let's try it out. And by the way, I actually mentioned all of this in my newsletter this week. It's called System Snacks, and I send out weekly emails with automation ideas from beginner to advanced. And if you want to sign up for that, the link is in the description. So my imaginary prospect suggested next week, Monday or Tuesday, and we're going to test out my assistant, right? I'm going to reply. And I'm actually going to CC Becca, which is my virtual AI assistant. And I'm going to say, I'm CCing Becca to handle scheduling for us. So when we look at our assistant, it has actually found an available time. It responded with the times, and now we can basically check our email. Look at that. Becca has responded with available times, right? So it says, hey Marvin, happy to help you find a time. Here are some options for next week. All times in Central European time, which is my time zone since I'm in Berlin. So all I need to say now is let's do Monday, 11 a.m., right? And let's see what happens. So my assistant just got the email. It realizes that the condition was met. We accepted time offerings. And now it invited us both into a calendar event and sent a confirmation, right? And if we look into the email, I can show the new one. And she says, sounds great. I just sent the invite. Let me know if there's any other way I can be helpful. Becca. So this is my virtual assistant taking care of scheduling for me. And as you can see, the calendar event is already inside the calendar, right? We got Marvin and Marvin, sent via Lindy, okay. And we can join the meeting, right? Monday, 11 to 11:30, which is perfect, exactly what we wanted. Now, if we want to make it a bit harder for my meeting scheduler, let's actually reply to this email and say, hey, I am not sure if this works anymore. Can we reschedule just 30 minutes later, please? So this would, again, take me at least a couple of minutes. Definitely a strong distraction, because I would have to let go of my current task and handle this email, right? Or my assistant would have to. So let's see if that actually works. So she just got the email. Now she's thinking, and she realized that we want to reschedule. So it actually deleted the calendar event. It finds a new available time. It responded with times, right? No problem at all. I've canceled the previous meeting. Would 11:30 a.m. Central Time Monday work better for you? Now let's respond. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, she just received the request. Accepted time offerings. Condition is met. So she's rescheduling the meeting. She sends a confirmation. Sounds great. I just sent the invite. Let me know if there's any other way I can be helpful. Becca. Now, this is amazing stuff, right? It's simple. And I'm gonna quickly walk you through how this actually works, right? So this platform is called Lindy.ai. And what you can do here is basically you can add a trigger, and the trigger was email received. So that's the reason why I CC'd Becca in my email, right? And then what it does, it uses Claude, which is an LLM, right? And it checks if different conditions are met, right? Either I'm asking to find a time, or I wanted to book directly, right? In this case, we wanted it to find a time. So we go down this route. Now it found an available time. It's connected to my calendar, and it used the GPT-4 Turbo model for this. And here you can actually set the times, right? What's cool about Lindy is that you can have AI fill in the fields, right? If you compare that to a tool like Make, for example, you have to manually put in every single detail. Otherwise, it won't work, right? Which makes it a bit harder for people to use if they have no experience with this. But this, you can actually have AI autofill all these fields, and you can even insert prompts, right? So duration minutes, I simply prompted it to say 30 minutes unless otherwise specified. So this way, the assistant can actually decide for itself if it makes sense to have a 30-minute meeting, or maybe a longer meeting, or maybe a shorter meeting. I don't know, because every use case is different, right? So that's super helpful. Earliest start is auto populated, latest end. Then it checks for my workday start hour, right? And I've set this to 11 a.m. That's just my preference, right? You can also start at 9 a.m. or something. And my workday end hour is 6 p.m. basically. And you can set the days, right? The allowed days for this to work. You can even say, like, if you have more than 6 meetings a day, you don't want any additional meeting on that day, right? So that's the limit right here. You can add an initial buffer. So in order to avoid having your assistant book a meeting in like 30 minutes, you can specify that here, right? So I put it to 60 minutes. So I have some time to maybe shift whatever I was initially doing if there was nothing in my calendar, right? And yeah, that's it, right? So it then goes ahead and responds with the Claude 3.5 model. And we've got this little prompt right here. It's basically saying to tailor the reply to the context of the conversation. So it actually has the full context of the whole conversation, which is really cool. And a couple of things, right? You can specify exactly what it should do, what it shouldn't do. And it's a learning process, right? You can evolve with that over time and improve the prompts. But so far, this has been amazing out of the box, right? It's going to find the user's email to CC if needed. And then we have different exit conditions, right? So after the email was sent, it's doing nothing. And potentially we could add stuff to this, right? We could say something like, let's actually send a Slack notification, right? Send a channel message, right? And I can auto-populate this field. And the way this works would be to, let's say, I have a channel in my Slack called Allgemein, which is just general channel. And the message could be something like, update me about what happened, right? It can be as simple as that, which is fascinating to me. Okay, so after the email was sent, after a reply was received, it's going to check if the other party accepted or not accept. So if it accepted, it's going to schedule an event, confirm the event, and eventually reschedule if necessary. If we didn't accept, it's going to go back to the calendar, find other times that were available based on the context of the email thread, and then respond again, right? So this is literally your email assistant right here, right? And this is just one use case you can use it for. Imagine what else you can automate in your business with this. And listen, I know this stuff can be overwhelming sometimes, but I really want to encourage you to give it a try, right? Try something small to start with. Maybe start with the Google Calendar and the appointment schedule, right? And then go on to automate parts of that, right? And eventually use AI agents to handle the whole process for you.